news. I'm gonna make a song, the Red Pill News song. You know what I mean? Maybe should I do like a rap version or a rock and roll version, man? I'm like, what about like what's that stuff called? New Age. Have like a woo Red Pill News. What do you guys think? I think that that's a winner, man. We're at war with Russia, basically. You know, of course, they attacked the Ukraine. If you listen to this show, you know exactly what was going to happen because we've been talking about this for quite some time. And whether it's the virus, whether it's the war, whether it's whether it's the weather, you know it, man, because we do our research on this show, don't we? And we like talking about the real deal. You know, I hate these other news channels. They're terrible. They got nothing going on. Fake news, misinformation, disinformation, all kinds of stuff they want to put out there. You know, I think that they're Looney Tunes, especially in a lot of the stuff. You ever look at like that real hardcore conservative or liberal like media? They make so many crazy claims, and especially like about COVID.
Wait,
You
I
know,
have to break in. I have to break in real quick and
oh,
let you go. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central Time, special on the war. Bye. See you later.
all right, yeah, I'll be on there. Joe will be on there. We're gonna have to hijack a couple other people and get them in there too. You know, but the reality is, what you are going to experience is going to be the stupid hacking. They're going to go after our power systems. They're going to go after our rail systems. You know, it's very easy to hack into those switches and hang up trains, hang things up, hang up our flow of transportation. You know, and then Putin goes and threatens nuclear war for any country who intercedes. Now, it's been a long time coming, this stuff. This guy's been isolated. He's surrounded by sycophants who just tell him what he wants to hear. And then he has had to have been digesting a lot of old information and war stuff. He was angry, physically angry, and was barking like a dog during his declaration, which I knew was going to happen on that day. He was going to wait for the Olympics to be over. I mentioned that, and then the following day was President's Day, and I figured that was going to be his declaration. And upon signing declaration, the rockets flew, and that's exactly how it went down. This guy doesn't just want the Ukraine; he wants all of the countries that the Soviet Union lost. Now, you know, Poland's NATO, Romania's NATO. There's a lot of NATO. In fact, he's surrounded by a lot of NATO countries, which is in his wording, one of the issues. But he's talking about there's people in Ukraine that experience genocide because of the Ukrainian government, and he's going in as a peacekeeping force. There's all this stuff. This is hysterical, man. My thing is the mainstream media listening to these people, listening to Biden, listening to any of these people talk, like they're acting like this guy's a natural truth teller, and then of course he could never lie. He's sitting there lying. Of course, that's Putin. That's what he does. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about any of this other stuff. This guy is driven. He seems paranoid. He seems like violently reactionary, and it's not just an image that he's painting. They don't even know why the letter Z is painted on all these military vehicles. I've been watching the news, Sky News, BBC, the news here, NBC, all these other crap hole outlets. We don't know why, or the government folks, we don't know why. You want me to tell you why? It's a message to Zelensky. It is a message that we are going to kill your ass. We're going to get you, we're going to torture you, and we're going to kill you. And that's the message. They don't understand that. They don't understand Putin. They don't understand what's even going on. But this is going to pour over. Now, when it comes to other countries, you know, so Russia's got friends with Moldova, right? I mean, which is right there. And then, of course, there's, you know, other sympathetic nations in the area. But look at the amount of troops. Now, for us as our U.S. military, you know, of what we're going to look at. I mean, he can threaten all kinds of stuff with nukes and whatever. They're a nuclear power. We're a nuclear power. You know, it wouldn't be surprised if somebody started using them because, you know, our own very military says there's no such thing as a useless weapon, which is also something that's unused. But But they are used, aren't they? They're used as threats. They're used as deterrents. They're used as, hey, we have this, you have that, so we can't mess with each other. And then when somebody goes threatening that, that takes it very far and deep of a destruction. And then once that cap is popped, you're not going to put it back on again so soon. I mean, once you start accumulating those types, and let me tell you, nuclear weapons. The only time they were ever used was by us in Japan twice, and those were that was baby stuff compared to what they've got now, and what that did to people, and how the cancers, the skin, the burn, the death, and all that, the decimation of their population. That's not something so easily forgiven. You don't think the Japanese have forgotten that, and that's you know it comes down to that. So then you have an actor who is saying, okay, we're going to invade this country. The Ukrainian government barely has any troops. I mean, it's not really a thing. And it you can't go up against a military might like that and expect to survive. That'd be like if Jamaica stood up to the United States of America. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like this little tiny thing. You know, you got all kinds of ships surrounding. Hey man, hey man, you got the Navy ships surrounding behind you. I don't like you pointing your gun at me. That's the deal. But Putin doesn't care. He's nuts. He fucking lost it. I was watching a madman. I was actually surprised because he's not like ever like that. And even when they annexed Crimea, they have the problem is they have a lot of military money invested in Crimea in those areas, and then when Ukraine, after the Soviet Union collapse was split apart, they lost a lot of stuff. So they grabbed Crimea. There's other solutions they could have found, but nobody found them. And then now, of course, they're pushing into the rest of Ukraine, which gives douche chills to the other countries around there, like Poland. Poland's got a problem with Russia to begin with. But now let me talk about logistics, man. When you think that Russia's such a huge military might, they don't have seasoned soldiers. They have soldiers that play war games and things like that. They have not been in a war in a long time. They've had a little bit of this and a little bit of that, some minor stuff in Syria, but not by other seasoned soldiers who are shooting at them and trying to kill them, not including going up against a country or countries that are technologically superior. And you may think that Russians got a lot of great stuff. These are the same people that dressed up a dude in a robot costume to fake that they had the best robot. You know what I mean? Like, just like how the Chinese took footage from the movie Top Gun, and then they said that was their planes and what they can achieve. You have these countries that just bold-faced lie, right? They lie. Saddam Hussein kept lying to people saying he had weapons of mass destruction. So they took his word for it. He had those Scud missiles, but look what happened to him. They found him in a rat hole and then hung his ass. So it didn't work out well for him. Gaddafi got a knife up his butt. They turned him to a popsicle. It didn't work out well for him either. He was hiding in his sewer drain when they found him. What's Putin going to be? Because Putin, let me tell you, the Russian people are not supporting this. They don't want any part of this. They want democracy. They want money. They want all kinds of stuff. They want the stuff that we have, right? Pornhub, things like that. They want all of it. They don't want to revert and go back to the days of the Iron Fist. So at some point, those unmotivated soldiers, the Russian soldiers who are firing on their own brothers right now, they're firing on their own family. There's a lot of people in Ukraine who are Russian. Hell, a lot of people in Ukraine consider themselves Russian, and they're attacking them, they're firing on them, and they're killing them, they're killing their kids, they're destroying their schools, they're doing all that right now during a freaking COVID pandemic. You have that. Then you have Poland. Poland opened up their arms and they said, hey, we'll take all the refugees you got. come on in, but they're going to have to be quarantined when they come in because of COVID and all that. People leaving their pets behind. Sometimes people leaving their homes. The amount of strife and pain from human and animal even right now is unwarranted. Unwarranted. It didn't need to happen like this. And if he's doing this, he's not going to stop. It's not just going to be the Ukraine. So it's on. The game is on. And it was a countdown that's been counting down. If you listen to the show, you know what I talk about. This is where we're at. This is why I like talking about that dude Kanye, because it's bubblegum for the goddamn brain. You know what? That doesn't threaten me. I'm thinking about that idiot and Pete Davidson. That doesn't threaten me. Makes me laugh my ass off. That's clownism, man. Makes me laugh my ass off. So anyway, in my life, oh my God, my life just turned to dog crap all at once. I mean, but you know what? It comes down to transitions, man. And then doors close, doors open. My spirit guide is telling me to get the hell out of here and get to a high elevation for some reason. And I listened to that spirit guide. It's kept me out of a lot of crap. So I owe my spirit guide a lot, man. I got a running tab. But I'll tell you, man, this is not good. And this guy threatening nukes. And don't think right now that a submarine can be parked off in New York City and D.C., and in a matter of 2-3 minutes, light them up and make everybody dead. So, and I'm 5 hours from each of those places, man. So it's time to go. I can hit the road easily. I'm all right. I'm a nomad, but I don't know. And then it's just everything at once always happens, usually in your life. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's very common with people, and they just need to survive and live your lives and go forward. So same for Kanye. Same for Kanye. So then at the same time, you have, I don't know, there's all kinds of stuff. Everything is happening now. And it gets everybody else twitchy. You don't think that Kim Jong-un gets all twitchy. He's sitting there crying right now because he's not in on starting World War III. You know what I mean? He's in the side seat. He's trying to figure out who he can launch a missile at. He's just edging. You got Japan all twitchy because they don't really have a military, and if they wanted to, they could come up with an unbelievable military in 24 hours that would blow your minds because they have the technology. You got China. They had a secret meeting with Xi Jinping and Putin a week and a half ago on an unannounced secret face-to-face. Really, that's interesting. And don't be surprised if they don't go goose stepping into Taiwan, because they know that it's going to weaken the system, this war in itself. So you already have inflation. Expect prices to go up, up, up. Expect shortages. You got truck drivers who want to gunk everything up. Expect shortages from that. And really, if you're going to go out and buy toilet paper, probably now is the time to do it. Get a few extra rolls for yourself to get through the next several months of this Armageddon. And that's kind of what it is. Humans always beg for Armageddon. Don't you? Always. And then when it comes, oh no, what do we do to deserve this? Oh no. How many times have you heard that story throughout history? What do we do to deserve this? Oh, wait a minute. That's right. That's right. Anyway. And then so New York City. Now I'm thinking if New York City gets nuked, I'm not going to say it. New York City has a lot of problems, though. I'm not sure if nuclear warhead will help or hurt. I think that people are screwed, man. And if this guy's threatening nukes over something like this, then obviously he's willing. It's not just a bluff. I think he doesn't care. I really think the guy doesn't care. They got control of Chernobyl again because Chernobyl's in the Ukraine, and that was a Soviet thing that happened. So now it's back to the Ukraine. They inherited that mess, so they've got that, and they're worried about Chernobyl. getting destroyed. So it's just amazing to watch those images of, the people suffering, the soldiers. The Ukrainian soldiers are scared, man. They're scared. They don't want to face Russian soldiers. They know what's up. They know what's up. That's like going into combat with all these tanks and planes and helicopters with a stick. you know, you just got a sharp stick in your hand. Stop, stop. Boom. yeah, yeah, yep. And Zelensky, that guy looked like he was pooping his diapers, man, when he was talking. He knows that his number's up. Russia's coming after you, and they're going to be at you in a couple minutes. you know, it could be there like 15 minutes, man. They got helicopters, planes, they all kinds of tanks and troops and whatever. So they're invading with much of what they've got. You know, Russia's big, but their population isn't all that huge. And when it comes down to having extra soldiers, they don't have a lot. And the ones they have, you know, aren't really combat ready. We brought back thousands of soldiers from Afghanistan. We've been at war. It's been a constant war. We have seasoned soldiers. The United States has bases all around the world. We are 3 minutes strike time from any city. Put that in your brain. Register that. 3 minutes strike time to any city. We get a B-2 bomber. We get a B-2 bombers just circle the earth over and over and over again, dropping bombs and doing all that. So, but then Putin's like, well, we have the missile, the supersonic missile. That's what he threatened us with. Supersonic missile. And then, of course, like if you talk technology, we got lasers that it doesn't go faster than light. Put it that way. And I think that just threatening that is crappy. And we got stuff too. So what? You want to just roast people? Is that what it's going to be? Just roast people all day long? Until what? Yeah, you're a nuclear superpower. So are we. And so is Pakistan and India. There's a lot of people that got nukes. Unfortunately, that's part of the human condition of stupidity. Because really, you should spend that money on education and not sit there and wage war and waste time. But humans are so primitive. And that's why, how come the UFOs don't talk to us? Well, you don't want to know why? Because you're stupid. you know, that's my answer for everything. That's Dr. Phil, right? Like you watch his show, and that's his whole deal, man. He's like the human version of Foghorn Leghorn, that big chicken, the big cock, whatever it is, rooster. Hey, boy, come here, boy. He's like calling people stupid on the show. You're a stupid. You're a moron. You don't know nothing. These little mentally fragile freaking people. You're stupid. I have a good story about that. Where is that story? Here we go. You're going to love this one, man. Dr. Phil shows staffers decry workplace is traumatizing and a war zone. You're stupid for that story, moron. Can Dr. Phil fix his own reportedly broken work family? And this guy lost his license. He was a doctor, a psychologist, whatever, in Texas. Also a contractor, like electrician, believe it or not. And then he had sex with one of his victims, or what they call it, patients. yeah. And he lost his license, so he wasn't a doctor. Then Oprah bought him, and she owns him. She has him in this long-term contract, and she will not let him out. And they go to war about it all the time, which I think is kind of funny. So, so about a dozen current and former employees of the Dr. Phil show have shared allegations that cast a dark shadow on the long-running advice program. People who give you advice are always screwed up. You ever notice that? Because I give a lot of advice. So, in the CBS daytime show, 20 years on air, psychologist McGraw has gained a reputation for his affable, no-nonsense advice and so-called Philisms, as one goes. That's his Philism. You're stupid. get somebody on there feeling bad because they're fat, and he's like, "You're fat. You're so fat. You barely fit in the door. Fit in my studio. You're so fat." People commit suicide after talking to him. So let's see. We treat people how to treat us. We teach people how to treat us. Then he doles out to the guests and their families on the brink of crisis. He lashes out at them. You just get a whip out and start whipping them. You're stupid. He's got that scary thing about him. He's a scary dude, isn't he? I'm looking at a picture of him right now. He looks like somebody you don't want to mess with on the subway. He look like someone who's going to go out of control any minute. Putin's cousin, out of control. Let's see. Everyone is just pretty miserable. You would walk into the building, and there was just a palpable dread and anxiety. One ex-employee told the site. You got to figure at least half these people are venting and or mad because they're not there anymore and they want to kind of stuff. But then there's a lot of truth in all this too. Doctor Show. Let's see. Dr. Phil, the show about mental health, where everybody who works on it has terrible mental health because of their own working conditions. So the irony of the new explosive claims that a show whose mission is to advocate for mental health hygiene could help its own set be happy. Aw. That's what they get for dealing with someone like Dr. Phil in that kind of industry. That's not all about love. You want love? Go start a candy store. You want to talk about some love? Sell some nostalgic candy to people. They eat up all day long. They'll love you. No one's unhappy in a candy store. How's that? But Dr. Phil, yeah, he seems like a very, very unhappy type of guy. And he takes it out on people, too. I would have nightmares, a former employee stated, choosing to remain anonymous, a fear of backlash and the wrath of Dr. Phil. He'd call him at home. You're stupid. That's why I fired you, moron. Even when I quit, I had to go to therapy for it. That therapist must have been laughing their ass off. I got somebody here who worked for Dr. Phil, and they're messed up because of him. Oh, man. I had to go to therapy for it, which is crazy because you're working for a therapist. Yeah, right. You don't think that they're nuts? You ever talk to one? You guys ever know a therapist who is not your own and you've had extensive conversations? I lived with my ex and the kids, and then their whole crew was people like that from Cornell. All therapists mainly. They're even hard to talk to. Start asking you penetrating questions. I'm PI, man. I'm an investigator. You think I'm that wise to that crap? And I try not to do that to people because I feel like it's not something that's a pleasant conversation when you're trying to poke and invade in what their lives were like. They want to hear your stories. You don't want to hear my story. Just sit in your own little puppy and kitten world. You don't want my story, believe me. So, and when you tell them that, then they're like, "Ooh, that guy's messed up." Keep the kids away from him. He's a ticking time bomb, that dude. But I'm the one who baked all the cupcakes in the neighborhood. So ha. I was the cupcake king. God damn it. I didn't slap people around like Dr. Phil either. I gave it to him straight. The whole cupcake. I'll tell you, cupcakes go a long way in the world of niceties, man. It's just nice. It's nice to do something nice for people. So this person said, let's see. It's been long noted that McGraw is 71 years old, holds a PhD in clinical psychology that was taken away from him, not a medical degree, and also not a license to practice. So he's a douchebag like me. with nothing go except he's got a big show. I don't slap people around. I would if I could, man. There's laws. There's laws against that shit. Unless you're really famous. So, though McGraw himself was not directly implicated in any of the info from the accusers. They said that he must be privy to the alleged bad behavior of executive producer Carla Pennington. The Emmy winning producer is being accused of, among other things, outbursts at lower level employees, allegedly calling them idiots, stupid, and retards. But isn't that Dr. Phil's normal? I mean, if you're exposed to that kind of abuse, that's the kind of abuser you're going to be. I've seen that stuff happen over and over again like that. However, another group of anonymous, who treats his assistant terribly and she quit and she's suing him? Robert De Niro. And she listed the words that he would call her up in the middle of the night, call her the C word, you effing C word and all that. And you can see, yeah, there's a lot of people who will vent and maybe even lie because they're trying to get money or whatever. But with a dude like Robert De Niro, you just have to observe him for a few minutes, and you know that he's that kind of person. And then when he was all against Trump with the, F Trump and F this and F that, he's trying to play some mafia role in real person. In real life, he's just a gross little slimy sludge ball. In my professional opinion, my professional opinion as a clown, that's that's what that is. Honk honk. Okay, so let me see. High stakes, whatever. It can be intense, but it's always professional," said Michelle Thomasy, who had been a teleprompter operator since the show's inception 20 years ago. I think a control room in general can be intense, but that doesn't mean that it has to be a negative environment, nor does it mean that people would be treated in a disrespectful way. Whatever. They shoot these shows aren't live. They shoot these shows. They get to edit them together later on. They have all the time in the world. Nothing really has to be intense. I've been in those control rooms. Nothing has to be intense, and you can make it fun also. On top of that, but professional but fun. Yeah, of course. Some workers describe it as a war zone, traumatizing, full-blown yelling, calling people idiots, slamming doors. Sounds like you got teenagers going on there. And it would not be acceptable in any other job or any other business except the Catholic Church. I hear a lot of slamming doors and jingling of beads going on. Yeah, that's right. No, I mean, you don't have this. It's if people are emotionally flipping out, especially these days, man. I mean, I just took my sexual harassment thing for New York State, and all those fire hoops you got to jump through for all that. I mean, it's just what you got to do, and you get educated in the process. You learn how people want to be treated, and maybe some of the old ways you get stuck to don't work. So I think that seeing something like this, especially on that level, they should be applying the same type of rules, and nobody should be yelled at. Nobody should be yelled at, man. I mean, I don't react well to that. That's why I never joined the military. I'm gonna have some screaming in my face. I wouldn't be in there long. Who are you yelling at, Sergeant? Get gonna get the thug up inside of me. Make, you get all that push-ups. Brr. Yeah, God, whatever. it wasn't going to work, and it never happened. So I guess that's good. I'm my own person. You know what I mean? Gotta be in this world. Not saying that military people aren't their own person, but you're not. you're government property at that point, and they just train you to be the slayer of the machine. And that's pretty much it. You can't go fight for yourself. Oh man, God forbid something ever happens to you, your family, you can't go fight for their rights. You can't go do any of that. But the military can sign it off. Hey, go kill these people. You don't know. Just go blow them up or go shoot them. Go shoot them dead. You might get shot too. You don't know what the hell you're fighting for, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? That there's a lot of that going on. It's not about freedom, is it? Not about freedom. The people in Ukraine, they'd like some freedom right now, and we're supposed to help them and defend them. When they said that we're gonna help defend you, like how? How do you do that without putting assets in there, military assets and then it's us against Russia, but it's going to be NATO, and NATO's already going in that direction, and all these people in NATO are very old, like Biden. They got nothing to live for anyway. They're at the end game. They're on their exit ramp. They don't care if they get blown up. Some of us do care, especially people out there with kids. You don't want your kids to suffer because of this crap. So how much do you like the Ukraine, really? Yeah. Ask Dr. Phil. He goes, they're stupid. They're morons. They're getting blown up for Ukraine. So, yeah, that was my story about Dr. Phil, because I believe it. There's also a big thing at CNN. They're being sued by like 80 people for racism and all these comments and whatever. And you think that I don't see stuff like that in my life, believe it or not. I mean, I don't I don't hang out with racists, and I don't go to places where racists hang out. And the business I'm involved in is it's remote through the internet, but still I have a lot of people that I work with, and people are mutually respectful and all that, and you don't hear any of that stuff. And they wouldn't tolerate it anyway, which is good. You wonder why these other people are tolerating it. So, which brings me to Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, who says people are attacking him because he's black, which was very disheartening. I spoke to a lot of people this last week about that, just in my daily life, just to kind of pick their brain, and they heard what he said, and they really couldn't believe it either. Like, are you really serious? It's just a terrible thing to put out there because it's not the case, and uh, you know, this guy, for some reason, he thinks he's going to be a good mayor of New York City or know what he's doing. They tried to clear the subway out, and that didn't work. So that's one thing they failed upon. They did identify a lot of people that were living down there in different zones they were living in, and it's warmer down there. It's out of the elements. And this has been going on for years. De Blasio never did anything about it. So I'll give this guy points for trying to clear the subway out, but he was a transit cop, so that's very close to his heart. But what about the other stuff that isn't? What about Putin blowing up a bomb in the city, a nuclear warhead? What are you going to do about that, Mr. Mayor Eric Adams? So, okay, now he's in trouble from the LGBTQ. Is it Q? What's after Q? L, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, queer. What's Q stand? Q. I don't know. The alphabet. They're mad at him. Mayor Eric Adams defended his decision to hire 3 ministers with past histories of homophobic remarks into his administration Wednesday, as anger in the city's politically powerful LGBTQ community continued to grow. Hisner's remarks came as a major gay rights group promised demonstrations outside of City Hall as soon as Thursday. Let's see, the former Bronx councilman Fernando Cabrera, Brooklyn-based Guilford Monroe, and Eric Salato, and people you don't care about. Let me just put it that way. This is a different America. When marriage was first brought to the floor, we said everyone who did not get it should be banished permanently. And that's the wrong message. And Adams told reporters during a press conference in Brooklyn, the goal is to allow people to evolve so that they can see the error of their ways. So he's saying that because all these guys are against gays because they're all ministers. And by the way, it's never, and let me say again, it is never a good idea to appoint ministers to anything political. It just goes to show you where this guy's roots are. But he says, oh, they said some stuff, but they're okay though. They can grow. They can grow from who they were. He doesn't say that for other people, but he's saying about for the people that he appointed, right? He added, and to say to my allies in the LGBTQ community that we're talking about Eric Adams, someone who has stood with you, fought with you side by side, even to his own political detriment. Let's see. Anyway, Let's see. We're deeply concerned about the message that the mayor is sending by appointing leaders who have histories of disparaging the rights and even the humanity of the LGBTQ New Yorkers, and also working to criminalize abortion. You see, you got these people, reverends or ministers. I know a lot of them because it's easy to become. I am a reverend. I became one too. All you gotta do is sign up for it, and you're there. So that's how easy it is. That's how ridiculous it is. And I'm a legitimate reverend. I did it because it was a goof. It was my year of earning useless titles. I became a captain the same year. Yar. So captain and reverend. 1 year. See how productive I am? So, State Senator Brad Hollyman, one of the most prominent gay lawmakers in Albany, assailed Adams' defense in an interview with the Post after the press conference. He's giving fodder to the anti LGBT efforts all across the country. In the same week that the Supreme Court has agreed to hear a case that could roll back LGBTQ rights nationally. And the Staten Island St. Patrick's Day Parade is refusing to allow LGBTQ individuals to march. Why would you want to? Staten Island. That's like a that's like is that really a denial? Or is that like a compliment? We don't want you here in Staten Island. Oh, thank you. thank the Lord Jesus. I've seen the light, and it ain't in Staten Island. Whatever. Oh, there's a simmering war on the LGBTQ rights nationally, and I'm concerning that. So I thought Trump was the homophobe. I thought he was the one who hated the LGBTQ, because these are the same people that were going after him. Meanwhile, he's the guy who I think that appoints a lot of people who are LGBTQ or whatever. I'm not going to say good things about Trump, but man, I just think that these guys are never happy with anything. I'm going to give Eric Adams a chance, even though he did play the race card already, and that was really uncalled for, you know. But let's see, what else we got. So these guys are just going to duke it out, man. Do I think that a reverend can't do a political job? Yes. I think that they're motivated by money. Those guys, don't tell me they're motivated by God or some kind of conviction. They're motivated by money, and you don't want to put someone like that in a position of power where they can steal. And that's exactly what that is. And I've seen this happen in small town politics. I can go down the line and show you, even in Ithaca, New York, where that happened. So these guys want to get in, and they're just little, I don't know, whatever. It's this guy's opening the door for people to come in that don't belong there. And if he's saying these are my friends, people I know, oh, you don't need that either. You don't hire your friends, man. You don't do it. You just don't do it. I've been there too. I don't care whether it's to do some work in your house or for a major position like this or whatever, man. You don't hire your friends. You can help them, even write a letter or something like that, but you don't hire them, man. And the Gay City News reported last week. Is there a Gay City News? I know there's a Bay City News. Gay. Doesn't that kind of make them stand out? I thought they didn't want to be known as anything. you know, I guess. I guess they labeled themselves. I don't like that either. The Gay City News reported last week that Montrose, a prominent Brooklyn minister and member of the God Squad. You see, you don't want anybody part of the God Squad in your administration. You just don't even want that word in there, you know? Because it just brings up a lot of friction from a lot of different people. And then in the city of New York, you got a lot of beliefs. On one block, you got people doing voodoo. On another block, you got a temple. And another block, the dude selling some Muslim oil. On the other block, you got some Catholics, with some little kids, whatever. You got a lot of stuff going on. And then another block, you got some atheists that say they don't believe in anything. Although I don't believe in atheism, you know what I mean? But that's the reality of the God Squad. The God Squad. That scares the hell out of me. I'm not even LGBTQ yet. Yet. I might become at some point to keep my job. If I got to put stockings and high heels on, then so be it. You know what I mean? Because white guys in America, we're especially over 50 years old, man, we're being put out to pasture. That's it. We're the villains, aren't we? We're the ones who have victimized mankind from the beginning of time, as a matter of fact. So yeah, that's the head that I'm in these days. You know, and it's terrible. So stockings, fine. I hear they're very comfortable and airy. Ah, yes. I'll wear that with a kilt. Keeps some masculinity, little kilt action. Although I could never consider a kilt masculine. I see guys wearing them, and they say that they're masculine, but I don't believe them. It looks like the exact opposite of what masculine would actually be. I'm not going to put down your kilt though, because they're probably very comfortable, right? Sweatpants are good for me, like the Long Island uniform, little jogging suit. So okay, let's see. This is the third set of hiring controversies to beset Adams' newly minted administration since taking office. What was it, a month and a half ago? Almost 2 months ago. The mayor came up under blistering criticism for naming Phil Banks as his deputy mayor for public safety. Banks unexpectedly retired from the NYPD in 2014 amid a federal investigation that eventually revealed his deep ties to two central figures in the NYPD bribery scandal, Jonah Rechnitz and Jeremy Reichberg. And he appoints that guy, the big thief. Sounds like he appointed a bunch of thieves to his office. You know? And Adams was widely criticized for attempting to hire his brother and into two prominent positions at the NYPD, including as the top official for government affairs and then as the head of his security detail. Wow. Well, you got to give your brother a job. You know what I mean? Ron Howard did that. You know, they got this kind of goofy looking dude in all of his movies, and that with red hair, it looks like he doesn't look like him, but he's in all of his movies, man, and he's like that's his brother, and it was cool that he put him in all of his movies. You know, he didn't do that for that Joni, the Joni and Chachi chick from the Happy Days, and she went nuts. I think she like died from drugs, like died a horrible death. Some crazy stuff happened. Yeah, what was her story? Some crazy stuff happened. And where was the Fonz, man? You know what I mean? What the hell is Aaron Moron? you, you moron. Here we go. Nobody kicks the corpse better than our show. I'm sorry. Okay, but I watch these people's lives, and then they have the heights of their career where they're so famous. You have to keep in mind when Happy Days was happening with Ron Howard, Aaron Moore, and back in the day, they made like nothing from that show. In stark comparison, the people who did the voices for The Simpsons topped out at $1 million an episode. But yet, like, look at Cheers with Ted Danson. Even at the height of that show, the most popular show, he was making 10,000 an episode. That's like nothing. That's not even like reality show money these days. Isn't that funny? So these guys they made nothing, and they died horrible deaths. So let me see. I guess this is a good one. This is the autopsy, and this just happened recently, man. Autopsy conducted on Aaron Moran's body has confirmed her cause of death. Oops. Here we go. The actor who played Joni Cunningham on the hit TV show Happy Days died naturally of complications of stage 4 cancer and was previously suspected by authorities who were working on her case. That happened, but it was all weird stuff. So, an autopsy report, which included a toxicology, said no illegal drugs were involved in her death. On the day of her passing and in the ensuing week, her former Happy Days co-star Scott Baio, who played her love Chachi, claimed she died from her excessive drinking and drug abuse. So there's 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 a little bit of an issue there. Scott Baio jumping out. He's a weird turd too, isn't he? I never liked him, man. I didn't like him on the show. I didn't like him in general. And what happened to that leather Tuscadero? That was Joan Jett, believe it or not. Isn't that funny? But let's see. I'm okay. I'm a little shocked, but not completely shocked that this happened. Who the hell is this even talking? The backlash against Bio from moron fans, cancer survivors, and all that. But you know what happened? Let me get to the port. Let's see. That goes through the whole thing. She kind of died alone, at 59 years old, like living in a rural community in New Salisbury, which is like outside of Louisville, Kentucky, and just middle of nowhere. And she kind of died poor. She didn't have anything. She didn't, and I'm thinking like, how come they couldn't put her in a movie once in a while? Like, you think that like Ron Howard, who was an amazing director, right? I mean, big time. If he could put his brother in these movies, if you're looking out for someone down on their luck, see, that'd be me. I'd be putting my friends in movies. I don't know. Let's see. She'd been acting in movies. Let's see. Before she died, before she was 10 years old, she had several years of experience when cast in 1974. I was a little kid when all that was going on. Happy Days. People wanted to be the Fonz. Everybody was like, hey, the Fonz was a good guy. You know what I mean? These shows had morals and some kind of sustenance to them. They weren't just like cutthroat and full of a lot of hate talk and race bait and hate bait and anything like that. So I don't know. I think that we need more of that and less of this crap that's going on. Yeah, this didn't tell the whole story. I don't know if I care enough to stick with it. So wink, it's gone. I just think that it was more that struck me. The article that I read a while ago was just how she suffered and she was alone and nobody was really reaching out to her, and she had reached out to other people, acting people and whatever. So I guess it depends on how these guys live their lives. I mean, I wasn't there for it. Funny that Scott Baio jumps out with his drugs and alcohol comment, man. And maybe that was true too. You could die of cancer and still be on drugs and alcohol. I think a lot of these dudes, when their careers, piddle out, that's what they become sometimes, And man, sad, sad, sad. So I don't know if we have time. We got a long time. Pete Buttigieg, remember the mayor, the gay mayor, and he made a big deal about that. So his campaign donors won $33 million in city contracts this last time around, and of course he has graduated up to the federal level. And now they're worried what kind of pay to play he's doing on the federal level. You know, there's a lot more money to be made, and that's where you got to watch out for that stealing. So here we do. Little Kanye. Come on, I got 3 minutes. Kanye West claims he ran Pete Davidson off of Instagram. These guys, I want to see these guys in two cars racing down the street. Demolition Derby, even better. Kanye West is claiming a small victory in the one-sided Pete Davidson feud after the SNL star deleted his Instagram after days after rejoining. Let's see. He said, I ran Skeet off the gram. West, 44, posted Thursday afternoon on his own Instagram account. Tell your mother I changed your name for life, biatch. A one-sided feud. I love that. Kanye West is in a fight and nobody else knows it. Oh my God. Davidson, 28 years old, appeared to delete his most recent Instagram page on Wednesday, shortly after sharing a clip of fictional comedian Rupert Pumpkin reciting his famous quote, better to be king for a night than a schmuck for a lifetime, which many took to be a dig at West. That's the problem with paranoid, psychopathic narcissists, man. You can't say anything without them thinking you're talking about them. Oh, God, I lived that. 14 years. Live with someone who was like that. Even if you're watching something on TV and had to circle around something bad towards you that they think that you did is something that they think that you're about. Oh, my God. This guy's a freak. So West has been going after Davidson, who he refers to as Skeet. He previously referred to Staten Island native as a dickhead and shared private messages allegedly from Kim Kardashian, worried about her boyfriend's safety. I don't know. I think they're pretty evenly matched. Pete Davidson's from Staten Island, and he's still alive. He had to fight his way out of there, man. Fighting rats bigger than him. You know what I mean? And a lot of freaks, a lot of people get my hate mail from Staten Island. Like Kanye doesn't seem tough at all. Little chipmunk cheeks. You know what I mean? I think they're pretty evenly matched though. But yeah, maybe in the future there's something can go on there. Anyway, I'm going to end the show on that note. These guys are freaks, and I love laughing at them. Hope you have a lovely time on the show. I'll see you guys next week. Hey, I'm about to hit the road, so we're going to explore haunted locations in America, other things going on, and tomorrow 9 p.m. Was it Eastern, Joe? Is it Eastern? Eastern time? My time? Eastern time? Something like that. We're going to do a show about all these politics.
No,
There he is. What?
Central time. Sorry,
Central
time.
time.
I'm going to invite Ben. I'm getting ready to put a text off to him in a few minutes. If y'all don't know Ben, he's from You Heard It Here First. I'm also going to see if Jay wants to come hang out with us. He's over from Church of Mavis. Of course,
Yeah, Jay, Ben. That's a good crew,
any of the
man.
regular listeners to any of the shows on the network,
because they barely talk, and he gives us a lot of time to talk.
You can join, yeah. No, you can, every now and then he gets into something, but we'll be well.
Invite them on because they don't say much.
I don't know if any females.
Hey, man.
All the females in our network are scared to talk politics. So, well, not scared. They're probably more intelligent because they don't talk politics. To be honest with you, but anyway,
they're paranormal, man. They don't get into it. Kathy Bilski, she's pretty political. She was hating on Trump.
Oh yeah, she's a liberal.
She was doing all kinds of naked rituals.
Cussing you and I the whole night. We wouldn't get any news done because you'd be cussing us all night.
So is the show over? Are we off the air? We're still on the air?
Oh wait, we're still on air. Hold on. Click.